Did you hear about Aya Wilson's jersey retirement? Tickets are selling for just $16 for her ceremony, and it sounds like a steal, right? Well, not when Caitlin Clark's ceremony is happening on the same day. Fans are willing to pay as much as $300 for standing room tickets to Clark's event. To legendary players, one unforgettable date, February 2nd, 2025, when women's basketball will honor both A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark in ways that will leave their legacies cemented forever. Fans are already debating whose impact has been greater, but ticket sales seem to tell their own story. Clark's jersey retirement is drawing ticket prices more in line with marquee NBA games, while Wilson's event isn't even sold out yet. Meanwhile, Iowa is opening up new sections to meet the demand for Clark's ceremony. Same date, same honor, but the demand worlds apart. Now, here's the kicker. Did you hear how Wilson is reacting to all of this? Well, February 2nd will be the official date for Clark's jersey retirement. On that day, during Iowa's game against USC, Clark's number 22 will be permanently raised to the rafters. What's really surprising is the huge price gap between the two events. The difference between Wilson's and Clark's ticket prices is like comparing a $16 concert ticket to a VIP pass at a sold-out stadium. It's a staggering $280 difference. Let that sink in for a moment. Let's break it down. The cheapest ticket to Wilson's jersey retirement ceremony is just $16 less than the price of a large pizza at most places. On the other hand, fans are paying $300 just to stand in the back at Clark's ceremony. That's a 180-degree difference in pricing. It's almost like comparing a budget meal to a fine dining experience. Aya Wilson, who helped lead South Carolina to prominence and won a WNBA MVP, is having her jersey retired at Colonial Life Arena. Meanwhile, there's a lot of frustration from Wilson's fans. Why? Because her ceremony is on the same day as Clark's, and despite her accomplishments, Wilson's tickets are struggling to sell, even at such a low price. It's not like Wilson is a nobody, she's a WNBA MVP after all. But somehow, the excitement around her event just doesn't seem to match her greatness. In fact, it's as if fans are overlooking her altogether. Think about it. What does $16 usually get you at a sporting event? Maybe a hot dog and a small soda if you're lucky, but certainly not a seat to witness a historic moment. So what's going on? Are people underestimating Wilson's impact? Or is the spotlight shifting elsewhere? Now, here comes Clark. It's her moment, and the fans are letting everyone know how much they value her. It's clear that Clark's legacy is something special. We'll have to wait and see how her retirement ceremony stacks up. Maybe it'll be one for the history books. Now, let's dive into the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Iowa is literally opening up new sections to meet the overwhelming demand for tickets to her jersey retirement. Fans are treating these tickets like they're golden tickets to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. The excitement is off the charts. People are even willing to stand for hours just to be in the same building as Clark when her number 22 goes up in the rafters. From what I can tell, Caitlin Clark fans aren't really concerned about Aya Wilson's jersey retirement. They're all in for Clark. So, what does this massive price difference mean for women's basketball? It's not just about money. It's a clear sign of a seismic shift in the sport. We're watching a changing of the guard, and fans are voting with their wallets. Meanwhile, in Iowa City, Clark's jersey retirement at Carver Hawkeye Arena during the game against USC is becoming a much bigger spectacle. In fact, one tweet went viral showing ticket prices reaching as high as $780, with some even listed over $1,000. This isn't just about star power or recent achievements, it's about the influence these players have had on the game and how the public perceives women's basketball. Caitlin Clark has captured the nation's attention in a way that goes beyond basketball. She's not just a player, she's a cultural icon. On the other hand, while A'ja Wilson's career is legendary, she hasn't quite reached the same level of mainstream appeal. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This story is bigger than just ticket prices. The gap between these two jersey retirements is only the beginning of a much larger narrative about the evolution of women's basketball. Now, how is A'ja Wilson reacting to all this? Well, let's just say her fans are furious. They're livid that her retirement ceremony is being overshadowed by Clark's. They feel like Wilson's impact is being overlooked. But let's be real, after 6 years of dominating the WNBA, you'd think her jersey retirement would be a celebration, right? Well, sometimes even the most sure-shot celebrations can get blocked. So how did we end up with this awkward double booking? Let's break it down. February 2nd, 2025. Mark your calendars, because this day is set to go down as one of the most iconic days in women's basketball history. On one side, Clark's number 22 will be raised at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City. On the other, Wilson's jersey will finally be retired at Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. Same date, same honor, but the vibes, totally different. Now, what's even more surprising is that this scheduling mess wasn't some last-minute decision. Iowa had already planned Clark's jersey retirement back in April 2024, long before Wilson's date was confirmed. So the timing, pure coincidence. After Caitlin Clark retired from college basketball, Iowa never officially announced the exact date for her jersey retirement. However, February 2nd was an obvious choice. Why? Because Clark's jersey number is 22, and it just so happens that everything lines up perfectly. Iowa strategically picked their only nationally televised game that weekend against USC, a matchup featuring the rising star Juju Watkins. It was like they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. The game? Iowa versus USC, February 2nd. It's all about 22. The date, the number, it all just clicked. But here's where things get even juicier. South Carolina decided to throw its hat into the ring months after Wilson's retirement was already announced for the same day. Coincidence? Probably not, considering Wilson's jersey number is also 22. And Wilson, well, she's not taking it lightly. You won't believe her reaction. In fact, her fans are speaking for her. One Twitter user was blunt, asking, "Why would y'all retire her jersey on the same day as A'ja? Are y'all stupid?" Ouch, the frustration is real and it's spreading faster than a Caitlin Clark 3-pointer ... One fan expressed their disappointment, saying, "It's the same day as A'ja Wilson's. How could you do this? Honestly, I remember when they announced Wilson's retirement, but I didn't remember the date. When the Clark news broke, I didn't even think about Wilson's ceremony. But now, with the dates clashing, it's only going to bring more attention to Wilson's retirement. Whether that's a good or bad thing, that's up for debate. Let's rewind for a second. Wilson and Clark don't exactly have a rivalry filled with heated moments. But this situation, it's like throwing gasoline on a spark that wasn't even there. So what does this mean for their legacies? For Wilson, it's like showing up to your own party only to find out someone else is the guest of honor. 6 years after leaving South Carolina, she's finally getting her moment, but is she? With the way things are unfolding, it feels like her spotlight might be stolen. It's a classic supply and demand situation, especially today, where nothing is ever truly sold out. With secondary ticket markets, if you're willing to pay, you can get into any event. And Clark, well, her event has become another feather in her cap of game-changing moments. Iowa has been planning Clark's jersey retirement since she played her last college game. They knew exactly what they were doing, choosing a marquee matchup on a nationally televised weekend. For them, it's not just a retirement, it's an event. Meanwhile, South Carolina had Wilson's jersey in the rafters for years, but they waited 6 years to honor one of their greatest players. In fact, they had already unveiled Wilson's statue months ago. So why is A'ja upset? It's easy to see why. What should have been her moment of the spotlight now feels like an afterthought. It's not just about sharing a date, it's about feeling overshadowed on a day that was meant to celebrate her legacy. And here's where things take an even more interesting turn. This situation isn't just about two players or two jersey retirements anymore. It's become a larger conversation about timing, legacy, and what it means for women's basketball in the public eye. It's become a symbol of something much bigger in women's basketball. We're witnessing a shift, a changing of the guard, played out in jersey retirements and ticket sales. And trust me, this story is far from over. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We know watching this takes time, and we truly appreciate it. Now, back to the action, let's talk about TV ratings. I'd assume the Auburn game will be televised, but whether or not it'll get national coverage like the Iowa game, that's still up in the air. When it comes to ticket sales, though, it's a straightforward supply and demand issue. It's that simple. This is a great example of how popularity is gauged today. Remember when I said this story is far from over? Well, we're about to dive into a world where ticket prices speak louder than words, and TV deals are the new slam dunks. So, what do these numbers really mean? Let's talk attendance. Iowa's Carver Hawkeye Arena is gearing up for a full house. Every seat will be filled, with fans practically hanging from the rafters. Meanwhile, in South Carolina, things are a bit different. Let's just say there may be plenty of elbow room. But hey, I'm sure some fans are grateful for the extra space. Now, about Clark's jersey retirement, it's not just any old ceremony. It's part of a nationally televised game on Fox Sports, meaning the whole country will be watching Caitlin Clark face off against Juju Watkins and the USC Trojans. It's a who's who of women's basketball all in one place. Wilson's ceremony, though, as of now, there are no broadcast plans. Zilch. It's like comparing a blockbuster movie premiere to a home video release. And that's a huge difference. So, what does this all mean for the players, their teams, and the WNBA? This isn't just about one day or one ceremony. It's a snapshot of a changing landscape in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark isn't just popular, she's breaking records left and right. Her college career was like a highlight reel on repeat, and it's translating directly into pro success. She broke 62 records during her WNBA rookie season, proving she's not just a star, she's a game changer. First of all, there's nothing wrong with two schools retiring their respective jerseys on the same day. But this situation, it's a vivid reminder of how the spotlight has shifted. There's no denying that Caitlin Clark's moment is bigger in terms of media attention and fan engagement. But secondly, if you want to focus on Iowa Wilson, she might actually get more attention as the second most recognized jersey retirement of that day than if she had her own event all to herself. Think about it, Caitlin Clark's 2020 for national championship game pulled in an audience of 18.7 million viewers. Now, compare that to the 2023 All-Star game featuring Wilson, which had just 850,000 viewers. Let that sink in for a moment. Clark's last college game attracted 22 times more viewers than Wilson's All-Star game before Clark entered the WNBA. Now, don't get me wrong, A'ja Wilson is a phenomenal player. She has the skills and the accolades to prove it. But somewhere along the way, the buzz around her didn't grow as it might have. And that's the difference between a small ember and a wildfire. Right now, Caitlin Clark is on fire, and it shows. And then there's the argument that Iowa is rushing things. People say everything is happening too fast for Clark. Well, no, she just did things faster, capturing more attention, notoriety, and celebrity, and generating more excitement than most players could dream of. She's become a global sensation. Is this a sign of a bigger shift in women's basketball? You bet it is. Clark has managed to carve out a space in the spotlight in a way we haven't seen before. This situation is a wake-up call that the game is changing fast. It's not just about skills on the court anymore. It's about fan engagement, viewership, and star power, both on and off the court. Clark is clearly capturing the hearts of fans all over the world, and the game is evolving both literally and figuratively. And here's the thing, Caitlin Clark doesn't even have to be playing another game to dominate the conversation. She's already etched her name in people's minds, and the debate around her legacy is just as heated as the games themselves. Now, let me be clear, this isn't just about Caitlin Clark versus A'ja Wilson or Iowa versus South Carolina. It's about the future of the WNBA and the trajectory of women's sports as a whole. And trust me, that future is looking brighter than ever. Are you ready for it? Remember when sports debates used to happen over beers at your local bar? Well, those days are long gone. Now, every fan with a smartphone has a voice, and boy, do they have opinions about Clark and Wilson. But here's the million-dollar question. Are these online reactions just noise, or are they shaping the future of women's basketball? Let's be honest, those who claim they don't like Caitlin Clark or say she's getting too much attention sure seem to be the first ones to comment on everything related to her. Social media is buzzing like a hornet's nest over these jersey retirements. On one side, you've got Team Clark, ready to defend their queen at all costs. On the other hand, A'ja Wilson's supporters are crying foul, feeling like their star is being overshadowed. You know what's wild? The sheer volume of engagement Caitlin Clark's announcement is getting. We're talking over 300,000 impressions in just 2 hours. That's not just fans clicking like, that's an army of passionate supporters making their voices heard. Meanwhile, Wilson's announcement, let's just say it's not exactly breaking the internet. But it's not all about stats and numbers. The fans are bringing the heat with some seriously spicy takes. One Clark supporter didn't hold back, tweeting, "Tell Aya to move her date. Then the face of the WNBA is retiring her, show some respect." Ouch. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. Caitlin Clark came to college as a basketball prodigy, but no one thought she'd be this good. No one had been this good before. It's Caitlin Clark's world, and we're all just living in it. Here's the thing, these reactions aren't just random chatter. They're a window into the changing landscape of fan loyalty in women's basketball. It's no longer just about who has the most trophy. It's about who can capture hearts, headlines, and hashtags. So what's the verdict from the court of public opinion? Looks like Clark's taking home the win. Is she the greatest women's player ever? Maybe that's up for debate, but at the very least, she be in that debate forever. Her now famous Hawkeye jersey was tutus, but she's one of one. This isn't just about Clark and Wilson or their jersey retirements. It's a turning point in women's basketball. We're seeing a shift in how fans connect with the sport and its stars. Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise isn't just changing the game on the court. It's reshaping the entire landscape of women's basketball. So here's the million-dollar question. Who will be the face of women's basketball in 5 years? In 10, will Clark start keep rising? Or will someone new step into the spotlight? And how will we look back on this moment? Will it be the start of a new era? One thing's for sure, women's basketball is evolving fast. The game is changing, the fans are changing, and the stars are changing too. This Clark Wilson moment, it's just the beginning. The future of women's hoops is looking brighter than ever. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.